Hi everybody, this is Tom with Culture Chat. So today I'm talking about an oldie but a goodie with oldies. So it's Arsenic and Old Lace, which comes from the 1940s. I'm sure most of you have seen the film, many of you have probably seen the play, and I want to talk about a few serious things and a few pitfalls to avoid. And I want to really give credit to the adaptation of the movie. It's very faithful to the play. And the movie takes out things that weren't really needed. Now, the play went up before World War II started. So it's written in that sense. War was looming, but the movie does not mention the war, which I think is very good because we don't really need that information for the comedy. There's already enough going on. Also, in the play, Mortimer, the lead male, is uh, about to propose, and that's all the nonsense and so forth. But in the movie, they're already married. He is someone who poo-poos marriage, and he actually does get married, and that makes it far more interesting. Um, the it really does remain faithful to the play. It's really good. Now, I'm attaching some videos that show you different opinions about the play, different settings about the play. There's one that goes on quite a bit, interviewing with the cast members from the, uh, the middle '80s, I believe, Maureen Stapleton and Marion Ross. And what I really want you to look at is the first few minutes of the play about the set. Many people, we've talked about this before in other videos, you're not trying to recreate the movie. Not at all. I've said that there are some good things that the movie fixed about the play which don't need to be there. I have said that the movie adapts successfully and fixes some character things, remains pretty perfect. Um, the people get very wrapped in their own heads about the set for this thing. Oh, it's going to be too expensive. We don't want to spend that much money. And I think most of this comes from we don't want to build a two-story set to have the crazy uncle go charging up the stairs. Well, you don't need to do that. I saw a version of this play, kind of done on a budget, which is great. They mostly brought things in, which I really support, from their old seasons and repainted them and so forth. No stairs. And the whole charge thing, he started on one side of the stage, made a big circle, and always had to have that path ready. So the humor was more, the comedy was more, because they had to get out of the way, which they did respectfully each time. And that made it funnier. So you don't need a two-story set. Um, you don't need to change the time period. I think that would be a huge mistake. Part of the fun is that it's in the 1940s, fantastic costumes. You don't have to do all the hair, you don't have to do all that. I don't think the Elaine who gets married, is that her name? Well, you'll check. The woman that Mortimer marries, I don't think she has to have a 1940s hairdo because it was her wedding day. That's not part of the point. She has to run around a lot and, give her something comfortable that works with that kind of thing. Give her a hat, you know. Pile that hair up underneath the hat. It's not about her anyway. Um, the I'm always encouraging you to do more plays with women, and this one is mostly men because it really focuses on Elaine and the two older women, the aunts, who are doing all the murdering. In case you don't know the play, it's about two lovely old ladies who feel bad for widowers who are bachelors who are miserable. One happens to come to their house and he dies unexpectedly in their chair, and they're so taken with how peaceful and how wonderful it is that he has passed away with them, having a little snack and so forth, and how this was great. And so they're going to help old, lonely men who are miserable. That's their parameters. And they basically lure them and they feed them wine with arsenic. And they have a little burial and they have 12 bodies in the basement, which is what Crazy Uncle does who really doesn't know what's going on. He thinks it's wartime. And he buries them in the basement for them. So, and we see an example of this. There's a man that comes in. We see them. This is a very important scene because they are not going to kill someone who they don't feel wants to die. This is very important. They're not just killing arbitrarily. So rushing through this scene would be a mistake. So, and their reactions to him, if you don't take them seriously and you camp it up or laugh it up, they want to know that they're getting the right person. Okay? I should say before I move on, when that person dies on the stage, when that man dies on the stage, they are shoved into a window seat where there's a lot of action back and forth. And please don't shove your actor into a window seat for the whole play and shut the lid on them. That window seat has to be built to the back of the set so that they can roll out. And that actor usually plays other characters, often unrecognizably. They often come back and play one of the policemen who stops by. Not the main policeman that they have all the humor with, but sort of the extra policeman. Okay, so that's important. Don't shut an actor into a coffin-like space for the whole show. Have it. He just needs to go in, and then he's taken out way later. This is very important. The movie is so delicious, and I think a lot of it is really focusing on Cary Grant, which is great because he does a lot of mugging for the camera, which he felt at the time he had gone too far, but he was just following direction. You can't take your total inspiration from Cary Grant in the movie. You know, it really is a focus on the old ladies and their humor and all the other kooky characters that come into their house. The murderous brother Jonathan comes home, the long-lost son, his plastic surgeon, the reaction to all this, and everything happening around them. It's an ensemble piece, but it really is focusing on the older women. They're the reason, they're the impetus for all this happening. So they're not the stars of the play. This is very much an ensemble, but they have the most screen time, okay? As does Mortimer. And don't forget about Elaine. You can put her in a few more times and have her fuss and so forth and make noises in the corner because they're trying to go away for their honeymoon. So she's a small part, but an important part. They're actually all very important parts. This play sells and sells and sells. Some of you that are younger may think, oh, but that's really old, 1940s. I saw the movie. It was cute. Will it sell for my theater? And when I say younger, I mean younger than me. Maybe you're younger than 40 and you're running your own theater, or you're on the board or your committee to choose plays for your theater. And you're like, that's really old. It was amusing. Why would we do that? This play sells. It sells in every country. It sells with revivals. It just works. Now, bad versions that weren't completely rehearsed and well thought out, and, you know, despite our best efforts, some things don't come out very well, you know. But this sells like crazy when done well. And it's an excuse to invite all those older actors that you like, that are good character actors, back into your theater. Remember, it's the two older ladies, good parts for older women. It is these men that come by that they murder, good small part, and that one guy that gets murdered plays a cop. Both cops can be older as well. There's no age about these cops, okay? So you can give all of that. There's Mortimer, and depending on what age you make him, his older brother, who's supposed to look a little strange, can be played by someone not as old as his aunts, okay? But say that your actresses are in their 60s, or, you know, not their 80s, because there's a lot of action. So depending on your older person, you need to really judge whether, and have an honest conversation with these older actors, can you handle this action? It's active. The aunts have a lot to do, They're sort of running around in a little sort of bitty way and so forth, but there's a lot of action. So say the aunts are in their 60s. Wonderful. Give those actresses a part. And you've decided that Mortimer is like 30, 35. And so Jonathan, the creepy older brother, can be much older. He can be 10 years older than Mortimer. It doesn't matter. You should be giving him that part. These are excellent parts for character actors, and you need to really look in your community and go, haven't cast him in a while. I don't know why. He's hilarious. I haven't cast her for a while. I don't know why. She's great too. And they work well with others, and this would be a great piece for them. I get itchy nose when I'm lecturing you, but it's important to bring these things up, especially now with economic downturn. Community theaters, equity theaters, regional theaters, you're going to be pulled to the forefront because there will be a lot less Broadway, a lot less West End having long runs. So you need to bring up your stakes. You need to be doing your craft as well as you can and thinking about what you're doing and how to make money. So these theaters that you think, oh, it's just us, we're going to do the best we can, rise to the occasion. Whether this is a hobby or you're running a regional theater, you need to bring things up to be as professional as you can be. Here's also a bit of housekeeping scolding. I like the fact that we are in an era of casting that is much more open. However, in this play, because of the topic matter, you need to be careful. So, I have a very good friend who's an actress who played the first widower who gets killed when she was very young, but she's a great character actress, and she played it as a man, and comes back as a cop, and I think that was great. It's wonderful. But now we are in an era of what's happening to trans people and violence. I know I'm bringing the tone of the video down. Violence is very much a real thing to trans people. They're being murdered. They're being attacked. So I'm not sure this is the play for you to have a trans character or have actresses playing male parts or changing the uncle who's crazy and charging around or changing that to yet another aunt. Or I think the only thing you can do is have police women, which people go, well, that's not 1940s. Okay, we know it. But they're the cops. They have funny, small parts to play. And this is what we're doing. So get used to it. This is not that big of a deal. The cops are just fun. They're just trying to uphold the neighborhood law. And there's nothing offensive about making them women. So that, you can do that. Also changing the people who get murdered or the crazy people, the murderer, the older brother, or the guy that gets murdered, or the plastic surgeon, making them people of color. You don't want someone Asian or Hispanic or black to come in and be the first person they kill. That's not a good look. You don't want the older brother who's crazy to be someone of color where they spend the whole time going, well, what's going on stage? You don't want to throw those lights on people of color as murderers, as criminals. Just don't. So choose the direction you're going, whatever race you're going, and make it consistent. Again, with the older aunts, do you want to have, you're hearing me, what do you want to do? Now, if everybody in the play is of similar colors, that's a different story. Okay? But if it's a mixed cast murdering each other, people start to wonder, and it's not a good message. Think about what I'm saying. So cast accordingly. So if they're all Hispanic, the family, great. You're not pointing a finger at any particular group murdering another group, or any particular group being crazy. Okay? Go on from there. I think this should be done in every country, which is good. So you will do it with your people. Just watch that cross-referencing in this play. it just doesn't work with colorblind casting completely, where you just don't care what race anybody is. It's not going to send a good message visually, and that's not the story. So be careful with that. Some people will argue with me in the comments. Please do. It's just my opinion. I'd like to hear yours. Okay, Arsenic and Old Lace. There's lots of stuff in the description. Please have a look. It really works around Halloween. It's a great comedy. It's not a parody. They're done in earnestness. Watch the movie, how carefully they do it. Very, very carefully. Watch the way you handle the murderous older brother. He can't be just evil, evil, evil. He's got to have some doubt and some this and some that and some kookiness that makes him a little more approachable. Okay? And we need to be a little bit on his side, like, oh, well, he's a kook. The aunts are kooks. Kooky family. Not their fault. It is his fault murdering people. But it seems like everyone in the family has this as a hobby because they feel like they're do-gooders to murder people, except for the crazy murderous brother who's just come out of jail. All right, have a look at this play. It's a good old piece. It'll do well for you. I've not seen any review that didn't say this play sells, this play works, and that's what you want for your theater. All right, we'll talk again. Please subscribe, like this video, make a comment. Let me have it. Let me hear what you have to think, have to say, and what your feeling is about this piece. And if you're one of those ones that have already done it and it didn't sell, that's curious. I'd like to know. All right. Please come back for more. Bye.